Yeah, very good morning to all participants. Nice to see people have joined. And if you would like to quickly share how you're feeling at this point in time with your various POC submissions, please do share. Mm. Thank you, Vaishnavi. Excited? This is like, how did it feel? Did it feel like a series of sprints, like a marathon, like a long climb up a mountain? What did it feel like?
All right, welcome to the POC template walkthrough session for WitchHunt. Today's session is designed to give you clarity on how to approach and structure your proof of concept so that you can present your ideas effectively. As we get started, a quick reminder that POC submission deadline is fast approaching. It's 13th of May, 5 p.m. IST. So this session will really help you to stay on track. So before we begin, I'd love to understand where everyone are standing right now. Can you all please put in the chat like what phase you're currently in? Is it the structuring of the POC, working on the solution, like midway to the solution, or almost done, or feeling stuck or need clarity? What is it that you're all feeling right now? Where are you right now?
Yeah, I think Asia people have already started sharing some. I
Sure,
see an ask from Arun for his team to connect soon after this call. So Arun's team, please do that. Vaishnavi is
sure.
excited. Kalpana seems to be nervous about submission. Don't worry, Kalpana. I hope after this session, you'll feel a lot better. Um, Shakti says more hectic. Shakti, it's just the last stretch. I'm sure that you and your team will, you know, get through the hecticness. Daniel Richard Xavier says it was a long journey, ma'am, full of new experiences of my POC and struggles. By a final working, made our team fully smile. Fantastic, Daniel. I'm imagining how your team might be smiling. Um, I think I would request Asia and team to take a look at some of the requests
Sure,
coming in where people are struggling with connecting with their mentors.
sure,
Jyoti
right.
Lakhan has posted that. There is one more post that just came in with respect to connecting with mentors. Midway, structure of POC, almost done. Okay, get there. I'm sure you'll get there soon.
Yeah,
Um,
great. We're
now only starting because of exams. Sanjushri from Trichy, I'm sure y'all will make it. It's It's a hectic hustle, I think. For just 1 or 2 days, you should be able to make it. 90% done. Super. Okay, there are some Replit issues. I'm sure those will work out. Huh. Okay, Pooja says she's stuck. I hope you and your team are able to get unstuck, Pooja. Okay, someone says that their team has not connected with them. Arun.
We'll make sure we resolve the queries here. Great, then I think we see a mix across these different stages, which is perfect. Wherever you are right now, today's session is going to help you move one step forward with more clarity. Before we begin, it's my pleasure to introduce today's speaker, Ms. Chitra, who is the chair of WitchHunt. She has been closely involved in shaping the vision and direction for this initiative and brings valuable insights into what makes a strong and impactful POC for the day. So, Chitra Gurjar is a product and software engineering leader with 25 years plus experience across enterprises and SMEs, expert in digital transformation, technology modernization, and data and AI readiness, proven track record of building and mentoring and scaling high performing cross functional and global teams, co-founder in product consulting, digital transformation and digital learning ventures, strong agile and lean practitioner. She has led programs in product designing, marketing, recruitment, and corporate learning, long-time contributor to Women in Tech initiatives, inclusive of GHCI. She's a speaker, podcaster, author, and educator passionate about innovation, user centric design, and improving quality of life. Joining her is our next, with her joining will be Apurv Jain, who is a senior product manager at Genpact. He has 9+ experience in project management and transformation projects, expertise in data analytics, AI automation, and dashboarding, strong domain knowledge in BFSI and travel industries, proven ability to lead end-to-end solution development and driven data decisions, skilled in translating business needs into scalable technology driven solutions and driving innovations. So before we begin to today's speakers, this is a quick note. The session will be recorded for participants who may have missed and they can go through it later. Over to you, Chitra ma'am.
Thank you, Asiya. And warm welcome to Apurv as well.
Thank you, ma'am.
So,
Being glad here.
okay, sure. So just give me a second and I will share my screen. All right. I hope my screen is visible.
Yes, it is.
Okay, thank you. So I'll just switch to, okay. I noted that a lot of teams are a little worried with respect to what this final template is. So I think you all have been working very hard through your solutions. Nothing to be overtly concerned about. Uh, so let's start the walkthrough. Um, I think this is evident. We were looking at some of the team names. We were really bowled over by the creativity that you all have brought to the team names. So this is the space for your team name. Okay. Uh, Please make sure that you download this POC template and then edit it. Okay. And those guidelines will be released by the team after this session of downloading it, where you need to submit it, and so on. This is a space for you to introduce all your team members and a short introduction about the team. This is simple enough, right? Problem statement, you have already created it, okay? And you can use the same from your idea submission deck. Okay. Similarly, with your user persona, right? So whatever you have already done in your idea submission deck, you could use the same slide here as well. Okay. Solution details. Now, there are two ways of doing this, right? One is your solution name. And we have a suggestion here to try to keep it under 5 words, simply because it's easier for people to read and keep it in their minds while they are examining your submissions. Okay. There is another very quick method in which you can do this if you want to describe your solution. So we have said try to keep it under 100 words. Another way of actually doing it is try to, and this is a good attempt for you to also practice how you can narrate your solution, right? So we usually in the design world, this is commonly called an elevator's pitch, which is if you were to meet the CEO of a company in a lift that you are in, and you have about 1 minute until the lift reaches both your floors, how would you use that opportunity to explain your solution so that it catches the attention of that CEO? Okay, so this template provided here, right? If you're able to fill it, this is more like a guideline. You can choose whichever way you want to do it in. Either you write it up in 100 words, or you can use this template which is provided here, which says who, who needs your solution, right? What is the name of the solution, right? What is that solution? Okay. And what does it do? What is its key benefit? Unlike, and when you use the word unlike, okay, it says how your solution immediately is different from the alternative. In some of the sessions that you all have participated in, you've also been exposed to how to define your value proposition. And in that process itself, you have probably experienced that you can identify your solution in a manner which makes it stand out or is different from solutions that already exist there. Okay. And you conclude by saying our solution, okay, is doing this differently and is better. Okay. This structure actually orients your mind towards thinking about how you can present the solution in a minute and a half. We typically call this a pitch also. A pitch for a product or a solution. Clear? So the solution details, again, name, just keep it under 5 words. You can write up the description of your solution in less than 100 words, or use this template, which has been provided here to help you craft it sharply. Okay, I have used this template very often. The who, the, is, that, unlike, and our solution very often to see if anything I am working on, I can be able to articulate it clearly and in just about 1 minute. Okay. Apart from that, describe the demographic that you are impacting that you intend to impact with your solution. So the one thing that is probably different from your idea submission, if you've already drafted it here, try to use this format. Okay, think that you have an opportunity to pitch. Think that your submission is likely to make it to the final. And if you're standing in front of a jury and you have just 2 minutes or less than 2 minutes to say what your solution is, I promise you that if you use this format, you'll actually be able to do it. So use this time when you're writing to also practice how you're going to pitch your solution. Okay. And then we come to the value proposition. I think this is something that you have already been exposed to. This is also another way of sharpening your solution. Okay. Any questions so far? Asya, would you be okay to help me with the readout of some questions if they are coming in?
Sure, ma'am. So far, there are questions basically to the support mail. I think the team here can reach out and talk to them after the POC walkthrough. Apart from that, there is nothing majorly for the POC.
Okay, just one question. Yeah, the template will be available soon after this session. Uh, and to Paras's question, do I have to submit the same PPT in POC which was submitted in IDEA? You will have to create a new PPT. Some of the slides can be leveraged from there. Now we will look at what is different, and we're coming to that point shortly. Okay.
The template will be available on the Hack Culture platform. I think that was Kalpana's question. Yes, this meeting is recorded, and the recorded session will be shared on the YouTube and Discord channel as well.
Okay. So we'll continue. So the value proposition is another way of sharpening your solution, like I mentioned. Call out clearly, right? This is a very interesting slide. I won't go through too much information about this because I assume that this would have been covered during your design thinking or any of the other learning sessions that you have gone through. Basically, on the left side, it is trying to map what your solution is so that it is able to address either customer pain points, help customers get their jobs done, or provide some gain to your users. Okay, so this is a way of actually helping you sharpen your solution, your solution description in terms of what value it provides. Okay, now this is a slide where it also helps you describe what is, how is data moving if you're using data across your solution. What was it, where is it today, and where is it expected to be? So, Apur, would you like to shed some light in terms of why we
Yes.
put this there? Yeah, over to you.
So, yeah, thank you, ma'am, for that. See, whenever we design a solution, we have an idea where we want to be, where the whole structure will look like, whole solution will look like. But it will take time to reach there. So what the idea, what the future state it is, we say North Star matrix. With all the components of data and whatever the technology we want to use it, that should be our North Star. So we have given, okay, currently you are in your POC state or you're creating a minimum viable product. So for creating minimal viable product, what you have done, whether you have taken it could be possible you have used some data set already available on the net. It could be possible you have using local storage to save your data. You are you are giving survey forms or you're giving survey links to collect the data. So right now, this will be your current state and how it's moving across your application. You need to basically, this is your MVP look like. When we have a fully evolved system, when you create all the evolved system and everything is happening automatically, everything is happening on the workflow basis, what the system will look like, how the system will look like, that's the your North Star state will be. So it's just basically in that way. This is
Okay.
this is one of the North Star. You have to think very what you can say very deeply about it, because how data moves, where you want to store it. You have to think about a lot of factors. Like right now, just one example, what is happening in the world. If that happened once again, how you gonna protect your data? Now there's a lot of data protection acts are also there. How you gonna adhere to that? That also you have to think.
Okay. Thank you, Apur. Thank you. Okay. Okay, first off, don't think that you have to absolutely do the architecture discovery in the way we are describing here. Where I'd like to draw the attention of everyone is um, look at just the broad areas, right? What are the technical assumptions you have made? Okay. Mm, what are the assumptions that you have? Let's start with the left top corner. What are the assumptions that you've made on behalf of your uh, customers or your end users? Okay, and what are the data assumptions that you have made? For example, in the previous slide, Apur mentioned you would have used some data source. See if you can answer some of these points that have been mentioned here. I know it looks like a lot, but keep it very brief. You don't have to describe all possible details. This is, I know, a very full slide. Okay, what we're trying to see is how you have thought through with respect to the architecture that you have put behind your solution. Okay. Now, if you come to the right side, what are some of the decisions that you all took as a team to choose to make your technical decisions, right? What platform did you choose? Um, why did you select a set of microservices-based architecture? Okay. What is your tech stack looking like? Okay. Um, Now, defining architecture, integration patterns, and API strategy, you may or may, if you feel comfortable, put it there. If not, you can give a very, very small write-up about what this is about. We're not expecting too much detail here. Okay. What kind of security did you use in case you did? Okay. And where this comes into play is if you have used, let's say you have collected data from a set of users uh, as part of your solution, if there is especially personally identifiable information like their the their bank details, their Aadhaar details, sensitive data that you know can be misused, and you are obliged to save it correctly. Have you at least encrypted that data and stored it? Okay. Who all can access this solution? Can this solution be misused by somebody who is not authorized to make changes to it so that it will misbehave, and so on and so forth? Okay. That's with respect to technical decisions. Customer decisions. This is something that you've already done. So you can give a reference to it. The target customer segments you've already done. Okay. If there are any design principles that you have used as part of your solution and you have crafted journey maps, right? Please put those here. You can submit them as a separate slide, okay, as a user journey map of your customer. Okay, anything that actually helps reviewers understand your solution better from the eyes of the customer. I'm assuming that journey maps are something that user journey maps are something that you all were exposed to as part of some of the design sessions. Okay. And probably a short note on how your solution can be personalized. For example, you could include this as part of your to-be roadmap, you know, vis-a-vis the previous slide as well. And what would be a support strategy for your customers? Okay, if they had to upgrade the solution, some things like that. What were some of the data decisions? Okay, that you took? How did you collect data? What sources did you take them from? Um, Now, we're not expecting too much in terms of data governance here, but going back to my previous point in terms of how do you keep your data safe and secure so that it is not misused by anybody, right? So that it cannot be easily downloaded by anyone. Okay. Um, Now, in terms of risks, what and since this is a proof of concept, there could be many things that are incomplete about your solution, right? So look at what are possible technical risks, um, what are possible customer risks, especially with respect to um, the if you have carved out the workflows for your customer, are they working all right? For example, if a user enters a wrong piece of information, how is your solution able to handle it? Does it gracefully take the user back to the previous page, or tells the user that, hey, you've actually entered incorrect information? Okay. You have two more attempts left before you can log in and things like that, right? Have you handled those parts? And data risks will again should align with your data assumptions and decisions. Okay, have you taken care of ensuring that the data that you have used, let's say to develop some models that you are using to provide information to your users, have they been validated? Is the data that you built the models on itself of good quality? Okay. So for example, if the performance of your model in terms of accuracy is expected to be 80 or 90%, what happens in the outside chance that, something goes wrong with the data? Have you looked at that? Okay. And correspondingly, some of the dependencies. So if you people have any doubts, questions on this particular slide, keep it simple. Okay, please don't get overwhelmed by the amount of information that is here on this slide, but keep it simple. We just want you to think of how you have approached your solution. And it's okay to have risks. It's okay to have dependencies. And it's absolutely okay to make assumptions. Just state that. Okay. And these are actually very important because anytime a proof of concept is developed, nobody is expecting it to be the completely working solution. Okay, everybody is very clear in their minds that this is a proof of concept. It is showing a particular capability. Okay, it need not be the full solution at all. For example, if let's say one of your solutions is selected, and a possible question that you can be asked by the people who are reviewing or critiquing your solution is, okay, this is a great POC, but how long would it take for you to actually, let's say, um, scale this solution that it reaches the entire population of this country? For, let's say, for example, if somebody has developed a solution like that. So you would have made some assumptions in the POC, right? So this is a question about scale. But at that point in time, they're not expecting to see that in the POC because they've already seen it, but they're asking you, what would it take to scale? So that would probably come out as part of your assumption, saying that, hey, today we are only handling these many users, but tomorrow going forward, we have given it some thought, and there are possibly, potentially other solutions as well. That could also reflect in the kind of dependencies that you have, saying that, hey, today we just developed the solution for this customer segment to test and see if it'll work. Tomorrow, we may need to collect different kinds of data. We may need to do a little more additional user research around a very a more diverse, a bigger audience, and so on and so forth. Okay. So point here is keep the architecture discovery to your POC for now. Okay. So here for process and data flow, actually this is how you can put a picture of your solution together. Okay. So I'll pause for a minute here and give you all some time to take a look at it.
If I may, ma'am, this is
Sure. Go ahead.
a very exhaustive what you can say, fully developed system will look like. This is your fully developed system, the whole thing will look like. There's a two-way you can look at this. This is your, whatever you're doing currently, you can just mention that and you can create the flow on the basis. Or you can mention, okay, this is where I am right now. Also, you can mention where, what else I want to do it. Right now, you're taking the customer data from any survey or any data set, just mention that. Okay, this is where the data is coming out. The middle portion is basically what your main solution is, how that solution has been, where it's moving, what analytics response you if you're using any generative AI to create commentary or something, those are being explained in the middle part. And the last portion on the right is how the data is being outputted, given to the end customer once again. This is the whole flow. This is how the whole data flows happens. The last part is the below part of the middle section is basically the continuous journey that it has to flow. Whenever we do a project for data and AI, the feedback loop is very much important because, as ma'am said, we have tested this solution for a set of customer or set of data sets. But what happens are new data sets happen. How that will happen? That's why it should be a continuous feedback to your starting point so that your model will evolve around in some time and it can adjust it out with the new data. That's why the feedback loop system will be always be created.
Yeah, I think very, very valuable points brought up by Apurv there. Um, Again, one very simple suggestion is in your teams, just take a piece of paper and sketch this out first. Right? See where things are fitting in. Allow yourself to actually create this whole process and data flow in your mind, and it'll fall in place. So, like Apoorv said, this is like a ideal system. So, um, indicate where your system is today as you submit your POC. And if possible, if you feel that you can articulate a future state, maybe you can call it out in a different color for along this particular workflow as well.
We got a one question.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Do I read it out?
Yeah, please.
Trisha
Yeah, sure.
says, asks, do we have to submit a fully working solution? We thought we could create a small, simple portion of the solution and submit it for now. Our prototype, it is not completely working, but we can only create a demo video with our current solution prototype model.
Okay. So, Trisha, please submit it. Okay. As long as, so go back to the initial slide. Right? What was your idea and how far have you come with it? Okay. Maybe in one of the slides here, you can also state that this was what we intended to do. This is how far we have come. Okay. What are you able to show as part of it? It's okay. If you got 90% of the way and you feel that that's all that you can do, please do record what you have been able to show. At least try to see if you can show one complete user flow, right? You mean, let's say you envision 3 actions that a user can do. 2 of them resulted in a user successfully being able to do a job. And the third one was to give the user some pain relief, and you were not able to complete the third. But please do show what the 2 pieces that you were able to complete are capable of doing. And you can state saying that originally we had planned this, but we were not able to complete the last part, which is fine. You could do that as well.
If I give an example, like if you have a data set, so just mention I have a data set. We are taking the data currently from a structured data set or whether it is unstructured. Just mention that. You don't have to go, okay, we have all the documents and content, we have external data source. No, just mention from customer, we are taking the data from the data set. That's all. To the customer, if you're giving some insights, just mention that. Are you creating a chatbot? Are you responsive? So mention that, okay, we have created a chatbot that will give answers on that basis. That's all. If you are creating a dashboard, that is also okay. That's fine. That's we want to look at currently where you are. And you have in your mind what will be the future state. Mention those points, just mark it. This will come in future. Right now, we are not there.
Okay.
Trisha, any doubt on this?
So the okay, so we'll just go ahead. You can post your questions to follow on. The technical architecture diagram is something that we put out here to help you all put together your architecture. How would it be different? If you would like to, the previous one just talks about the process and data flow. Okay. Um, Here it is going a little in deep. Again, this is an ideal state thing. Please do not get overwhelmed by it. Okay. Wherever you feel your tech stack addresses some of these pieces, just put those relevant pieces here, right? It it does not have to have all the elements which are listed over here. Okay, there are two layers that I would like to bring your attention to. One is the data life cycle, and the second one is responsible AI principles. And we'll talk a little bit about that in the subsequent slides. Try to see, so your previous diagram should actually lead you to creating this one, okay, where you're able to actually show your data life cycle, how you are collecting data, you're ingesting it, or you're bringing it into for your solution, how you're storing data, okay, how you are using it, okay. Is this data shareable with others? If so, in what way? How much are you sharing? Okay. How are you planning to store data? And by the way, these need not be complete. For example, only whatever you have done, you can show, but you can indicate how you intend to, if that's possible. Okay. Now, for your solution, which is built using AI, how have you accounted for review of your solution? Is there a human who reviews and signs off on it? Okay. I think privacy is something that we already spoke about in terms of data. Okay. Is your solution likely to cause harm to anybody? In which way? Are you aware of it, and how will you handle that situation? Okay. Um, in terms of fairness, um, does your data set represent fairly the segment of users for whom you're building the solution? Okay, is there any bias in the data? So let's say, for example, if there in your data set, if there is a bias towards a certain category of users, you can actually mention that. Okay, remember the term bias is not a bad word, right? If there are science students, 12th standard science, if you've studied about diodes, and you know, right, if you force electrons to move in a certain direction, then electrons flow in that particular direction, causing a electrical pathway to get instantiated. That action is called biasing, is where you're forcing the electrons to move in a particular direction. Now, with respect to bias in AI, if your data set is perhaps collected or structured only for a particular segment of customers, you just call that out. Okay. Transparency, it says here, be open and explainable, is that every aspect of your solution should be explainable. Right? For example, if you used a third-party tool to develop your solution, you should be able to say exactly what capability of that third-party solution you will be using in your solution. Okay. And for example, if your solution is targeted towards specific use cases, for example, in healthcare, right? When we talk about human oversight, um, will you be able to invite a clinician or a doctor or a specialist or a radiologist to actually be able to validate whether the output of your AI solution is okay to be used by your customers or not? Okay. It should not be entirely reliant only on a machine, but there should be a human oversight to say that, yes, this is good to go. Okay. Um, this I feel is something that allows you to think about. So today, most people are in the phase 1 of their solution, but potentially what would phase 2, phase 3, and phase 4 look like? Okay, you can just this is like your roadmap. If at all you had the opportunity to take your solution big, to be able to productize it, to be able to attract certain kinds of companies that might be interested in adopting your solution, taking it to a wider market, what would that look like? Okay? This is your opportunity to also look at the potential of your POC. Okay, even now in the next 10 days, think about it if you already haven't. Okay, today because we have constraints, right? Due to time, due to exams, due to many things happening, and you're participating in this hackathon, you probably have come down to the point where you're saying, okay, let me just finish this and get it done. But take a moment as a team to just take a step back and say, okay, in the chance that my submission makes it to the final and I have an opportunity to stand in front of a group of very experienced judges who can potentially, we can influence with our solution. And it gives us the opportunity to, just take it big. What would that look like? Apply this thinking. Right? Apply this thinking. I remember, I don't recall exactly which session, uh, but somebody, a very seasoned speaker had spoken about thinking big, right? While they actually, the initial part of the solution was only addressing a very specific problem. Later, they realized that it had a much broader application. Right? It could be easily scaled and expanded. It could, become effective across, let's say, various industries. While you develop the POC only with a specific theme in mind, let's say for smart cities, tomorrow somebody can leverage the same thing even across climate action. If you have a smart city solution that, let's say, can be leveraged in healthcare to, give doctor access to all kinds of patients, but the underlying principle is the same. You can use it there as well. So take some time out in the next 10 days when you're preparing this deck for your MVP to also think about what would a roadmap look like it. Suppose somebody said, hey, I'm really interested in your solution and I will partner with you for the next 1 year. Look at that as an opportunity and think about it and create this rollout roadmap. Okay. This is a very, very keen aspect. The next two slides, please pay a lot of attention, right? One of the USPs of this hackathon is, are we being mindful about ethics in AI? I think there was a session conducted on this. What does it mean? It goes back to what I said just a couple of minutes ago. Um, to answer these kind of questions with respect to your solution. Okay, and this is becoming particularly relevant in the age of AI, right? Although we are using AI as tools, AI as enablers to help build solutions faster, better, we have access to a lot of data. But are we being mindful about whether our solutions are inclusive? What does that mean? For example, look at the first one. Is the solution accessible to all users, irrespective of language, digital access, and disability? Think of this solution being deployed in the remotest parts of the country, where network access is limited. So while you may not have already thought about it or included it in your POC, use this as in each of these sections. You can say, for example, language. Today we support the solution in English, but tomorrow we can easily support it in, all the 14 languages, 14 most common languages spoken here. Okay. Digital access. Does it work today on low bandwidth and offline model kind of ways of working? Is it mobile friendly? How much data will it use? If my solution needs to be installed, right? Uh, what kind of mobile phones will people need? Have you thought about it? Right? Disability. For example, if a person who has limited vision, will they be able to actually use your solution with a screen reader? Okay. Will they be able to use the solution navigating a keyboard? So somebody who has color blindness, will they be able to distinguish between colors on your solution? Think about these things. By the way, if the answer to this is not yet, that is fine. It is fine. Okay. Next thing, the next section is about data. Is the data representative of all user groups? Right now, this is the fourth instance where we are actually looking at what is the profile of the data that you are using to build your solution. Okay, so for under each of these sections, what I would recommend to you is state where you are today with your POC. But you can also state a future for this. What would you consider going forward? Okay. And about what demographics was your solution tested on? We've just given samples here. Please identify the demographic across gender, income, and region that you were able to test your solution on. Okay. And if you have a coverage number, let's say you tested your solution with 50 users, how many were you intended to test it with 50 users? How many did you actually test it with? Was it 15? Was it 20? Was it 30? Just that will give us an indicator of coverage. If you don't have that data, it is okay. Okay, but we would encourage you to include this. Okay. Similarly, this part about the second part also includes, does your data represent all the relevant groups? Okay. Sorry. I am just going to move this a little here. Yeah. And okay. Look at question number 5. Can your solution be completely explained and has been validated by a human?
Ma'am, your screen is not showing up.
Yeah.
Screen is not showing up. Okay, sorry. Just give me a second here.
Also, we have a few questions on the chat. Um, I think this is from Hopeworks team from Odisha, asking, can we make a game?
Okay, so game is fine, but whether it's applicable to the themes that we have given, or how that particular game is going to help. Basically, we have to think what are the solution we are making, how it's going to help the society, how it's going to help your demographic. What game you're thinking of First of all, you have to think from the game perspective. It's fine, you're creating a game, but whether it's an educational game, where how because learning through games is good in my sense. What I am seeing, it's one way we can create games, but you have to come up with a proper explanation what type of game you're making, how it's gonna affect your demography. I
Sure.
hope this answer.
We'll take this into consideration and see if the mentor can help the particular team with this.
Mhm.
Chitra ma'am, the PPT is still not visible. We can just see the teams.
Oh, okay. It
By
tells
then,
me
we'll
that
take
I'm
another
sharing.
question from Tanya. Should we make our working prototype and take a video of it, how it works, and upload that?
Okay,
Anyone?
it's saying that there is an issue with sharing. I'm okay, hold on. Going to try this one more time. How about now? Is my screen visible?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Okay, and just the last point here is, have you only collected the minimum necessary data for your solution? Very often when we build models, in the very first stage when we examine data, we may not need all of it. Right. Very often we land up collecting a lot more data than we really need. So how did you go about addressing that? Right. Did you only use data that was essential to deliver the solution? Um, how did you deal with sensitive personal data? While sometimes you would have collected, especially demographic information along with PII information, how did you deal with it? Okay. Did you inform users that you are actually collecting data if you directly collected it from users and you obtained their consent? Okay. Did you store the data securely so that it was, let's say, only accessible within your team and no one else could for the purposes of this POC? Okay. So these are some of the important things that uh, we would like you to pay attention to is these last two slides. They are important from a thinking point of view. Um, a lot of people today are asking about the way AI solutions are developed. Are they developed keeping these things in mind? So this is important. Please pay attention to it. Okay, these last two slides. And the last thing is please add a link um, if there are so there are two ways of actually showcasing your solutions. One is a video, the other is a series of images through which people who will review your solution can actually understand it in terms of how it works.
Better if it is a video, you can explain whatever the solution you're creating while you're demoing with the video. You can do a voice over that so that people who are evaluating can easily understand that also. If not possible, image, but preferably video will be great help. So we have few questions here. Okay, can we record under OS? See,
Yeah. So
Trisha. Mhm.
sorry, go ahead, Apurva, if you want to take that.
Yes. So that is fine. Whatever you have done, you have created a fake. See, database security, we are not asking. Excel is also a database. If you think you have collected the data in Excel and you have connected your Excel to your solution, you can say out, we have taken Excel as our database. But privacy is very much important. Whenever we are working with data and AI, have you taken any information of data of the user that can directly affect them, like their name? If their names are not required for the solution, remove it, delete it from this thing. Like their personal information, like their Aadhaar cards, their address, home address, or anything else, where if it is required, it has to be encrypted. You have to think about some of encryption level in your Excel itself, how you want to encrypt that. So that is required from the like user privacy review. And before collecting, have you mentioned the user, okay, we are collecting this data. It will be with us for this much time. It will be for us with 3 months, 4 months, 5 months. And after that, we're going to remove it. Have you done those things? This now, because in India, now we have very strict data privacy rules. So you, at least you need to adhere to this.
So I think what I'd like to add is if people are not aware of this, just consider it, right? Please don't go back and beat yourselves up that you didn't do something or you did do something. Okay, just that's why I said declare in the way that you have done it right now. You will not be penalized for it if you have not done it. Okay, that is a very important point. But say that you will take care of it going forward if you do have the opportunity to build out the solution. So my one ask, I think, of all the teams here is, y'all have put in tremendous effort to build this. And that is something that we would like to acknowledge here and now. Okay. This POC submission template, the final submission template, is actually a pathway to what your future can look like for your solution, for this idea. Think of it that way. You are only here at this point in time. This submission is one step. Okay. Now, let's say if the submission really catches the eye of people who are judging and you actually make it to the final stage, think of that moment. It's an opportunity to stand in front of people who are subject matter experts in various areas, especially along the 4 themes. So let's say your submission got shortlisted for smart cities. The people that you will be presenting this to, or you would have the opportunity to present this to, are people who are actually looking for solutions. And what if they find yours to be something that they may want to engage with you going further? Okay, then what would that opportunity look like? Right? Think of it that way. Think of it that way. Okay. While you may not have considered many aspects with respect to how you have handled data and whether your solution is explainable, these are thinking points for you to look at. So be honest, state where your solution is in its current state. Okay. That's what we're trying to get to. So Annapurna, I don't think there's a separate portal that's going to be enabled. It will be on Hack Culture itself. The POC has been submission deadline has been extended until 13th May at 5 p.m. Like Asia mentioned right at the beginning of this. Soon after this call, the team will share these details with all the participants, right? Where the submissions are. So do look out for those announcements. Okay, so it is 12 now. If there are any more questions, keep them coming in. We will share this deck, okay, with you all shortly. We'll give people another 2 minutes to share some questions which are top of your mind before we close the call.
And I'll just pipe in, Chitra.
Sure, Sanjay.
So this template will be on the platform under the resources section by right now it's 12 before 1 p.m. today. So give it maximum 1 hour. And this template will be in read-only mode. So you need to download a copy or create a copy online itself before you modify it. I have for the solution proposal template received a lot of requests which were for give us editor access. Now this is a common template, so it'll be viewer only access, not editor access.
Yeah, I think this is something that we had mentioned right at the beginning of the call as well, Sanjay. Thank you. That download this um, submission template and work on it offline.
I think students from Orissa Center raised their hand. Request you to please post your questions on the chat so that we can reply, so that Chitra ma'am and Apurv can reply if it is anything regarding the template and POC. So another question from Garima Mittal. Ma'am, do we have to follow the same template with black background for the POC?
No, you can use, these are the ideas. So these are just the flow in which we want to have the solution submitted. It could be any background. It's fine for us, but try to keep it as minimal as you can.
I would add one request here.
Mhm.
See, the jury will be looking at multiple such submissions. So if the flow is same and not disturbed, it will help the jury also. Also, that is reducing the chance that the jury misses out something which is critical in your submission. So keep the flow same. The jury then gets their mindset towards looking at a specific flow. Template structure, template backgrounds that you can definitely change.
Okay. So Yashaswini has a question in terms of collision of ideas. So Yashaswini, I'm going to make a educated assumption here. You mean that so mentors are not evaluators. The evaluation process has not started and will not start until all teams submit their POCs. Okay. Now, if there are similar ideas, okay, we will look at it on its merits. It is highly possible that two people have been working on the same idea, targeting the same set of users, probably using the same principles. But we will look at how your implementations were different, what other considerations that you gave, which is why you see that this is a pretty uh, detailed POC submission. There could be changes in the way you consider a tech stack or what kind of data you consider. So we will look at those. So the final call will rest with people who are evaluating the submissions, and criteria are already handed out to them in terms of what they need to consider.
See, once again, I'll come back to the last time what I said. Ordering a cab is just the idea. How you implement it, it depends. How Uber is different than Ola, than your Namma Yatri, than other things. Yeah, idea can be same, but the implementation and the features that you create, if it is different, how it is different, what you are doing it, that matters.
Yeah.
See,
Thank you, Praveen. I think we will close the session. It's 12:07. And like Sanjay says, we will quickly get the POC out along with the other details about it on your communication channels. So thank you again for folks that joined. Good luck. I think most of y'all are on the home stretch. And I sincerely hope that, you will line up your solutions. I'm just looking forward to some really, really great solutions out there. I think your POCs have revealed a lot. I think there's some fantastic, fantastic solutions out there. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for putting in this effort. Okay. Um, thank you all.
thank you.
Thank you so much, Chitra ma'am and Apur and Sanjay sir, for that insightful walkthrough. I'm sure this has given everyone much more clarity on how to approach their POCs. We will now close the session. Thank you everyone for joining today's session. We strongly encourage you to start applying these learnings to your POCs and also connect with your mentors for further guidance. I will be dropping in for the Discord channel as well as the support email ID below in the chat. Once again, thank you, Chitra ma'am and Apur, for your time and support. Have a great day ahead and all the best for your POC submissions.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Also, I think people can join to the respective group mentoring links that were shared by theme, and the mentors will be there waiting for you all. Thank you.